Over the weekend, we just ran one of the most awesome events we've ever ran. So we have two events over a weekend. They're called Uncommon and Abundant. And what Uncommon's about is, you know how in life there are periods of time where it feels like things are just harder than what they should be. Business is a grind, your relationships are a grind, your kids are always getting on your nerves, you can't get healthy no matter what you want to do, you're always tired, you're always not motivated. So what we do in Uncommon is we just fix that over the course of a day. And it's so incredibly effective. It's awesome. We've got a bunch of dudes. We've got like 60, 70 guys in a room. And we just do a whole day of breakthroughs. And these guys go out and freaking crush it. Like absolutely crush it. We've had guys who've made millions of dollars after that event because of how they've leveled up and the better decisions that they've made. Then the next thing that we do after that is we go into Abundant. That's the next day. And the Abundant's like, okay, cool. We've just broken through for a whole day. Now, how are we going to capitalize on this, and how are we going to help you make a lot of money? And the way that we do that is we get in experts in the areas of investment, we get experts in terms of communication and goal setting, and one of the things that I talked about and discussed with these guys is this really simple strategy that I use every single day to stay hyper motivated, to stay on my A game, and to make sure that I've always got peaking levels of energy. And the guys really, really liked it. And all of them are using this now, and they've said that it's been incredibly effective for them. I've used this on hundreds of guys, not just guys who've come to my events, but also guys that I've worked on one-on-one. And this is possibly one of the most effective things that I do. And it is so incredibly simple that anybody can do it. So what I want you guys to do, I want you to do this technique, this strategy. It's called an identity frame. I want you to do this. I want you to roll it out in your own life. Because when you do this, you'll be more energetic, you'll be more motivated, and you'll be more crystal clear on where exactly you're going. You'll be making better decisions. You won't be doing things which hold you back. And that invisible force, that anchor you feel like you're dragging around, it'll go. So I'm going to run you through exactly how this works and exactly what you can do in order to really dominate, to get that motivation, get that energy back. I was talking with someone who mentors me and coaches me, bloke by the name of Craig, and he studies a philosophy called Taoism, and he's from a school called Dazhuang, which is like a Chinese school which has been tracked for over like 2,000 years, where they just teach essentially like the meaning of life and the ways to excel at life to the highest level. And I'm a bit of a nerd, so I always study this stuff because I'm fascinated with how do I have more energy, achieve more, do more cool shit. How do I have the most amount of wealth, the best relationships with my family and my kids, and also have the best health at the same time. And as you know, that's pretty freaking difficult to do, all three of those things. And so I'm studying with Craig and I'm learning from Craig. And one of the philosophies of this school, which has been proven for thousands and thousands of years, is that if you have enough energy, everything will be fine. And that's where this strategy fits in perfectly, because it's so true, right? If you look at any time where we fail, it's because we run out of energy. We're just exhausted, we're burned out. 9 in 10 businesses fail, right? In the first year, and then 9 in 10 businesses within the next 5 or 10 years, like they then fail as well. Why do they fail? Literally every single time it's because the business owner runs out of steam. Very, very rarely is it anything other than guys getting burnt out. Marriages. Have you ever been in a rough spot in a marriage or relationship and you're broken up, right? Now, if you had more energy and you could go put into it and you could try and help it, work on it, all that sort of stuff, maybe you'd be able to overcome it. But by the end, you just burnt out. You're done. You're over it. When people start getting fat, start getting out of shape, start getting unhealthy, always you make the bad decisions because you're out of energy. You're burnt out. You're done. You're sick of it. Does that make sense? There's a common theme here. If you have enough energy, life will be good. If you don't have enough energy, life's not going to be good. And that's what this strategy is going to bring back. So what I want you to do in order to set up this identity frame, what we're going to do is I want you to imagine your ideal self. Or if you can't imagine your ideal self, imagine someone that you really, really want to be like, someone that you aspire to be like, okay? For example, we had a young kid, really nice guy, he's like early 30s, really, really cool dude, and he came up for a little bit of help. At that time, he was drinking too much, he was doing too many drugs, and he was just burnt out. He was running a business, he was stressed out of his mind, he didn't know how to deal with the stress, and that's why he started doing the drinking, the drugs. Very, very common, work with a lot of guys like this. And he continually kept making the same decisions over and over, which was, I'm stressed out, so I go and blow my brains out with drinking and getting on the bags, and then after that, he feels crap for 2 or 3 days, and then he gets stressed out and he does the same thing. And I asked him, I was like, okay, well, what have you done to try and break this cycle? What have you done to fix it? And he says, oh, nothing. And I said, why not? And he said, well, what if it doesn't work? And I said, I held back wanting to tell him that he's a fucking idiot. I didn't say that. And but what I said, I was like, look, let's just look at this a different way. Who do you really idolize in life? Who do you really think is just the bee's knees, is really cool, you want to be like him? And his example was David Goggins. David Goggins, for those of you who don't know, he's an ultra endurance athlete. He's a former Marine, like US Marine. He's a real tough bastard, like really, really tough guy. Very, very mentally strong, very successful in business, very successful in life. The guy's done really, really well. And so he said he wants to be like David Goggins. And I asked him, I was like, okay, so if you're in David Goggins' situation and you get into this business and this business is stressing you out, you've got employees who are shitting the bed left, right, and center, you're always putting out fires, you're always worrying about money. Okay, if you're David Goggins, what would you do? And he said, well, I wouldn't drink and I wouldn't be doing drugs. I was like, cool. So what do you think that you need to change? He says, oh, I need to stop doing that. Brilliant. What else do you think David Goggins would do? He said, oh, probably get help. And I was like, cool. So you're going to get some help? And he said, yes, I'll get some help. And I was like, what else would David Goggins do? Probably eat better, probably train better, probably sleep better, put myself first, start looking after my health. And what I did is I got him to juxtapose his actions and the way that he was living his life compared with the person who he wanted to be like. And that's what I want you guys to do as well. I want you to form an identity of your ideal self, exactly who you want to be, how you want to be. Or I want you to take someone that you really admire, who has qualities and traits that you admire, and every single decision in your life, I want you to compare the decision that you're making right now with the decision of that person. Does that make sense? Because when you compare these two, what you'll see is that in every single area where you're not happy in life, be it you're too fat, you're drinking too much, you're too stressed, you're not making enough money, your relationships aren't good enough, you'll compare that against either your ideal self or against someone who's incredibly successful in that area, and you'll notice that the two of you would make very, very different decisions. And then it's really quite simple. What you do is, instead of making your shitty decisions, you go and start making their good decisions. And then rapidly things start changing, like literally overnight. For example, let's say that you've always struggled with losing weight, you've always wanted to get rid of the belly, but you never could. You could go and put yourself against someone that looks really, really great. Okay, let's put it against, I don't know, who's someone that looks absolutely fantastic? Chris Hemsworth. What would Chris Hemsworth do? And if you look at your decisions, you probably see that you're making shitty decisions like eating too much chocolate, drinking too many beers, or doing stuff like that. Would Chris Hemsworth do those things? No, he probably wouldn't. Therefore, you stop and you start acting like Chris Hemsworth. Very, very simple. Does that make sense? And what I want you to do is, for every single decision that you make in your life, I want you to compare and juxtapose yourself to this ideal person that you would like to be like. Does that make sense? Incredibly, incredibly simple. So, to kick this on and to make this really easy, what I want you to do right now, I want you to draw up 3 circles: health, wealth, and relationships. And what I want you to do is I want you to write out your ideal health goals and who you want to be like. Either yourself, you can describe your ideal self, or you can name someone that you know of, a celebrity or someone who's doing really well, or you can make it so that you have someone that you just admire, someone in that position that you think would be really good for your health, for your wealth, and for your relationships. And I want you to compare your actions and your decisions and the way that you think compared to how those people act and make decisions. Does that make sense? And here's what you're probably going to come up with when you do this. Number 1, you're making a lot of bad decisions which are holding you back from getting what you truly want. So cut them and start making good decisions which are in alignment. And number 2, you're probably hesitating a lot more than what you should. You probably need to take more action, because the most successful people in the world are known for taking action instead of hesitating. Does that make sense? So this is the easiest thing. That's exactly how you do an identity frame. It's really simple, really easy. Now, if you need any help with this, you don't know how to do it, feel free and reach out to me. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email, james@jcfcoaching.com. I'll always get back to you. It might take me a little bit, but I'll always get back to you. Or alternatively, if you really want to take yourself up to the next level, if you actually want to be at the level of your ideal self, you know the decisions that you want to make, but you don't have the tools to get your energy back. You need the tools, you need the strategies to get your energy back, to get your motivation back, to be able to really, truly dominate in the way that you want to. Book in a time for a game plan call. Because what we'll do on this call is we'll help you do this identity frame. We'll help you form this real, true you that you want to be. We'll help you make the decisions that you need to make in order to get there. And we'll get you the information, we'll get you the game plan, and we'll make sure that you have a systemized process to get from where you are right now to where you want to be. So if that sounds good to you, click on the link down in the description, slot in the time for a game plan call, and we'll make sure that you've got exactly what you need to do in order to dominate. We've done this thousands and thousands of times before. We worked it out the other day. We've done over 15,000 game plan calls. We're pretty proficient at this right now. We've literally coached, this was just on the game plan calls, we've actually coached one-on-one for an extended period of time. We've coached, I calculated literally just the other day, it's 5,500 dudes we've coached one-on-one. Like one-on-one coaching, 5,500 guys over the last 10 years. It's an incredibly large number of people. If you want to get the same results that all these guys have got, you see the interviews that I do on this page, these guys that I talk to who are absolutely crushing, like you see the results that they get. If you want to get results like them, slot in for a game plan call. That's step one. That's how you get into this. That's how we get you moving forwards. Okay? On that note, guys, I'll leave you all to it. Slot in the time for a game plan call if you really, really want to dominate. When you're ready, slot it in, and let's make it happen. I'll speak to you soon.